again, like I said, mid-segments. Today we're going to be looking at the segments in the middle. But since we meet the middle, for my triangle ABC, which we started with, I came out with the midpoint. You guys notice, like, I named them JKL. Right? Those are the midpoints, which we know the midpoint is the point in the middle. So let me connect my segments. So I come up with a smaller triangle. Now that I have that, let me come over and get some measurements. I have my segment of JK. The measurement of that is 5.83. My segment BC, you cannot really see it on the screen. Hold on, let me check something really quick. Okay. My segment BC, you notice it's 11.67. What relationship do you guys see on the segment JK and the segment BC? JK is half of BC. So since it is half, by 5.83 is the half of 11.67. There's obviously some rounding over here. So if BC is twice as JK, can I come and say BL will be the exact same size as JK? Yeah. So let's check. I check for BL and I check for LC. And they are exactly the same size, 5.83. And we know that my program actually calculates everything, right? If I move my points, right, it's not numbers that I just wrote. If I move my points, everything changes, right? So you guys know it's not numbers that I wrote. It's actually measurements that the computer is doing. So they're exactly the same size, right? Now, do you guys think the same thing will work with JL? So I'm looking at JL and AK, KC, and AC. Yeah? Let's check. I look at those and yeah, it works. And just to double check, let me check the other measurements and everything works out. So one thing is that a mid-segment, let me look at the beginning, JK, we said it was going to be half of the segment over here, of BC. The interesting part of those as well is not just only the measurements, JK and BC are also going to be parallel. Right? I could come over and prove it if you guys wish to, but let's just come and say that they are parallel. Just believe me, they are. So JK is parallel to BC. So let's do something really quick. On our notes, let me check something here. Right, on our notes, do me a favor and copy that triangle. The triangle ABC with the measurement, with the midpoint JKL. And if you notice, I wrote the mid-segment. So do me a favor, once again, for your notes, do me a favor and copy that triangle. Triangle ABC with the midpoints JKL. And also, one thing that I'm also going to ask you guys to copy will be the following thing. JK is parallel to BC, which is also, JK is parallel to BL, which is also parallel to LC. It looks like an I, but it's actually L. So I'm talking about my point L. And then it's also parallel to BC. Right, those lines going up and down, that's the representation of parallel. So JK is parallel to BL, which is also parallel to LC, which is also parallel to BC. So in your homework, if I ask you guys, give me a segment, the JK, so the segment JK is parallel to, you have three choices. Since I say give me a segment, pick whichever one of the three you want. Remember I said give me a segment, so once again you guys will have choices. Another thing that I want you guys to write down, like I said, copy that thing, the statement that I gave you guys. Another thing that I want you guys to write down is JK is congruent to BL and is congruent to LC. JK congruent to BL, which is congruent to Right now, I know it makes sense. We just saw it on the previous slide. But I know you guys will need this in your final, which is like towards the end of December. And I'm afraid that by then you might have forgotten it. So that's why I'm having you guys copy it down, because we will have this on the final as well. So obviously, we need to remember it by then. Notice that on the left, when I have parallel, I have 4 segments. When I have congruency, you only have 3, because BC from my left is not as big as these others, right? That's why I didn't put a congruency. And then I'm also going to ask you guys to copy other things. Do me a favor and copy that. If you notice, I have JL is congruent to AK, is also parallel to KC, is also parallel to AC. Yes. Sure. And it seems like on my second line on AC, that the segment line is not over 8. It should be over 8. It's just a little typo. So make sure whenever you guys do write it, make sure you guys write it over A as well. For us to be able to see everything well, there you go. But once again, I'm giving you guys what is parallel to and what they're congruent to. So there's 6 things in there. So looking at the last statement on the left, that LK is parallel to JB, who's also parallel to JA, and it's also parallel to AB. Remember the little 2 lines that means parallel. And then I have that LK, remember that's lowercase l. LK is congruent to JB, which is also congruent to JA. Alright, can I take this off? Not yet. Okay, I'll wait for you guys. Remember congruency, there's congruency, like JL and AK and KC, they're all congruent. And we're going to use that to be able to find the value of X, so to be able to find some measurements on our worksheet in a few minutes. Still see a few pencils moving, so I'll wait. We're good now? Can I take this up? Alright, and also do me a favor and write this thing down. In a triangle, the segment joining the midpoints of any 2 sides will be parallel to the 3rd side and half its length. In a triangle, the segment joining the midpoints of any 2 sides will be parallel to the 3rd side and half its length. I'll do a picture in a minute to explain what that says. You guys don't have to copy the picture, just copy the words. In a triangle, the segment joining the midpoints of any 2 sides will be parallel to the 3rd side and half its length. So it says in a triangle, just like say I'm going to draw a picture to represent this. If I have a triangle, right, in a triangle, the segment joining the midpoints of any 2 sides. So let's just say that those are midpoints. And let's say that that segment is joining, right? The segment is joining two midpoints, right? The midpoints of any two sides. One, it will be parallel to the third side. What that says is this side is parallel to that, which we found out earlier, and half its length. So what that means is if this side is 5, the whole side of the bottom should be 10, which we saw there earlier. So the midsegment is parallel to the third side, and the midsegment is half than the third side. Does that make sense? All right, can I take this off? Let's take a look at our worksheet. First part, it says in each triangle, M and P are the midpoints of the sides. Name a segment parallel to the one given. Keep in mind I said name a segment. You guys have 3 choices. So the side given is GH. What is GH parallel to? MP. GH is parallel to MP. Looking at question number 2, one of the segment is MP. We see where MP is. Give me a segment that is parallel to MP.
JI or IJ?
IJ, okay. Remember, you guys have 3 choices. The IJ is one of them. If you guys choose one of the other 2, you got 3 choices, then it's fine. JI, NJ, IN. You guys have choices. Alright, any questions for the first section? That takes us up to question number 11. Any questions for the first 10? Alright, looking at number 11, notice I have some marking. See how GB I did a 1 mark and BF I did a 1 slash? That is just to tell you guys that B is the midpoint. Right? Notice how EC I did it with 2 slashes and CF I did it with 2. That's just to tell you guys that C is the midpoint of EF. So just to tell you guys that we're dealing with the midsegment. So now here it is, find BC. We know that GE is 8. How big is BC? 4. I'm gonna give you guys some numbers, some figures where you guys only have the information needed. And I'm gonna give you some other figures like let me see, some other figures where you guys have information that you guys don't need. We'll take a look at it in a minute. So any questions for the first 20? 13. Looking at number 13, ML6. How big is SQ? 12. The mid segment, so we can say the segment on the inside is always half of the one on the outside. Any other questions for the first 20? No? Alright, looking at number 21, solve for x. Let me just take a look at one question at a time. We know that 2x plus 27 is half of 30 plus 2x, right? So can I say that, can we come and say that if I go 2 times 2x plus 27, that will equal to 30 plus 2x. Alright, if you go 2 times the midsegment, because I know the midsegment, the little one, is half of the big one. So if I have the little one, multiply it by 2, it is equal to the big one. So that's what I have here. 2x plus 27 times 2 is equal to 30 plus 2x. Let me use the distributive property to get rid of parentheses. So I'm going to have 4x plus 54 is equal to 30 plus 2x. We're good? Yeah. Okay. Alright, so now having that, remember how I have my side separated to the equal sign? I want to have letters on one side, numbers on the other. Don't forget that whatever you move from one side to the other, switch the sign. So on the left, let me write 4x minus 2x. On the right, let me write 30 minus 54. Right, don't forget that whatever I move from one side to the other, I switch the side. On the left, how much is 4x minus 2x? 2x. On the right, how much is 30 minus 54? Negative 24. So if 2x equals negative 24, what's x? Negative 12. Value of x can be negative, so we're good. The sign will be positive, but the value of x can be negative. So you guys will have these questions 21 through 30. But let me take a look at number 26. Looking at number 26, I don't need x plus 10. Because I just need the mid-segment and the other side. Like I said, I'm going to give you guys 26 or 30. I'm going to give you guys some things related to x that you guys do not need. Right? Only look at the two sides that are parallel. So I'm just going to come and say 2 times 2x plus 16 is equal to x plus 14. Right? The little one multiplied by 2 is equal to the big one. Don't forget the distributive property to get rid of your parentheses. So I have 4x plus 32 is equal to x plus 14. Separate them through your equal sign. So I have that 4x minus x is equal to negative 32 plus 14. How much is 4x minus x? 3x. How much is negative 32 plus 14? Negative 18. If 3x equals negative 18, what's x? Negative 6. Alright, any questions up until number 30? No? Alright, looking at number 31, find the missing length indicated. So we need to find out how big is CA. For CA, I know it's 2x plus 6. If I know the value of x, plug it in. Right, it's 2x plus 6. The way we're going to find the value of x, I'm just going to go 2 times 2x minus 6 is equal to 2x plus 6. Right, the mid-segment, the little one, times 2 is equal to the big segment. Let me use distributive property, so I'm going to have 4x minus 12 is equal to 2x plus 6. I'm going to have 4x minus 2x is equal to 12 plus 6. Don't forget on my 12 I switched the sign. So we have the 2x is equal to 18. So we said that x equals 9. Remember, my question here does not find x. My question here is find CA. So don't forget to plug it in. I'm going to say CA is going to be 24. Because I plugged it in there. 2x plus 6. All right, 80 questions.